Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Reckless Paradise podcast. I'm your host, Dystro, and tonight's episode is another Shoot the Shit episode. This is episode 31. So this episode was actually supposed to come out yesterday. So happy belated Father's Day to everybody out there. So got that out of the way. So yeah, so it was supposed to come out yesterday, and I lost track of time. And me and Marissa, we were playing a video game and all that stuff. And by the time we finished our gaming session, I was just like, well, crap. Like I didn't want to like do something and then have it late for you guys. So I figured just do it the next day. It is currently Monday, June the 16th at 4:36 p.m. Here on the Reckless Paradise channel. So let's just get right on to brass tacks here. So I'm gonna start with a kind of like a channel update on one of them. So the status of the Reckless Paranormal channel follows as this. It is currently not really gonna be up and running right now. Because due to some scheduling conflicts and all that stuff between Marissa and her uh, person, her boyfriend right now. They kind of are like not getting a good schedule together. So we're gonna put a little pin in that. But it is a good channel idea. But just look forward to it. Maybe in the late future, maybe not too distant future. But that's kind of where it's at right now. So it's kind of laying dormant right now. But hopefully within maybe the next few months or so, when some scheduling kind of clears up for him, they can probably start to do that. So let's just see how it goes. So the big talking point of this episode is going to be my recap of the trip that I did to New York 2 weeks ago. So Monday morning, we got up super freaking early, like 3:30. Or well, we were leaving around 3:30 or so, and kind of just was just going through like just the highways and major highways and kind of like roads in the dark. It was like close to 4 a.m. when we left out on Monday morning, June the 2nd. Because my flight didn't leave till 8 a.m. and I was supposed to be there probably around like 11:30 ish maybe. But the flight attendant was like saying that it was gonna be 2.5 hours. So I was like, okay, cool, bet. So got on the plane. It was my third time getting on a plane, by mind you, and I had some cool people right next to me. It was a French couple. It's always happened to me every time. It was like when I went up to see Marissa in 2023, and then last year and this year, I had full, like a plane full of Canadian, like Quebecers, which is kind of ironic, because then like the flight home, the last three times, I had hardly nobody right next to me on my left. I had like maybe a person or two on my right, like in the next aisle over and stuff. But it's usually the exact same way coming and going, which is kind of ironic. It's kind of funny. So I land in Plattsburgh, and went through checkout and all that stuff, and got my bag, got the rental car, which was like actually kind of nice. The people were there. They were actually kind of nice. There was a guy that was training and all that stuff. So I just took my time. But trying to get to her boyfriend's house, like Marissa's boyfriend's house, it's like he lives out in the boonies. Like he lives out in like bumfuck nowhere, which is in Owl's Head, and there's like hardly no service out there because it's my phone plan doesn't go into that. So I had to kind of pick and choose like where I could get my data and my service and all that stuff. So I eventually get there after some trial and error, And I pulled up to his place, and I, closed the door, and I locked the door, and I knock on the front door of his house. He opens the door. He goes, "Well, hey, buddy." I was like, "Hey." And this is my first time ever meeting Casey, her boyfriend. Also, you know who you are. Going trying to go after those two. Those two are really good people, so just watch it back. Not trying to make any friends or enemies or anything, but you know who you are, so just zip it. Um, so I finally met the guy and all that stuff, and he's actually kind of cool. He's just like a little, like, he's 5'4", so it's like I could kind of like get a good vibe from him. And then he's like, "Hey, she's upstairs. Like, just be very quiet." I was like, "Okay." So then I walk upstairs, and then like I peek around the corner, and I was like, "Well, hey." And she goes, "What the fuck are you doing here?" I was just like, "Well, I got here early." And she goes, "You fucker, you fucker." And I spent the remainder of the day with them, doing stuff with them. Did some went to like what did we go do? We went to go do something. I can't remember what it was. And we had lunch and I think kind of like dinner or something like that. Out and all this stuff, and then I did not sleep very good at his place. I tried to sleep in a recliner as a 6'4" tall man. It's not an easy task. So I was kind of like getting some like sleep here and there. I eventually kind of like just was like, no, fuck it, I'm just gonna stay up, and I stayed up from like 3 o'clock in the morning till like by the time we got to Marissa's place that night. So yeah, I was up for like maybe I'm gonna say maybe maybe like 12 plus hours. Maybe I was trying to think of like what time I got up and then what time we went to bed. Um, but yeah, that was a rough first day. It was a good flying day, but it was just a rough day trying to sleep in general. So the second day, June 3rd, I slept at Marissa's place for the remainder of my stay. And the floor was like it's kind of like a hard carpet floor, so it's not very easy to sleep on. But Marissa was trying to make best of my situation and all this stuff, so I was like, okay, that's cool. So we went to go to this place called Crossover Games, and they had a sale on like everything in that store, like video games, Magic the Gathering decks, Pokemon decks, like you name it, they had it. And Marissa got a Magic the Gathering, like commander set, and I was like, okay, cool. And she got like some dice, and she got some like card holder boxes, which was actually kind of cool. I also forgot to mention on that first day when I was in New York, I had crossed the Canadian border and we went to go see our friend Ken's, our Discord friend Ken's. Um, he's he's a little bit taller than me. He's 6'5", and I actually got to meet him for the first time, in person, because we usually talk over VC, like voice chat and all that stuff. So it was actually kind of cool to like get a good vibe from him too. Been friends with him since I had first met Marissa, which is actually kind of interesting. But yeah, that was like an overall good first day there. We didn't get to do much on the third day. We were just kind of like, I guess, like trying to like pick and choose like where we can go and all that stuff. But I did get to watch the um, finals, or try to get to the finals of the Best of the Super Juniors final day on the third day. Um, but it's all about the memories and all that stuff on the third day. Which we didn't really do much, like I said. Just went over to Crossover Games, got that Magic the Gathering stuff, and then just went to Marissa's house and had to take Casey into work because it was his first day. I guess full official day, if you want to call it that. And I know Marissa was just kind of heartbroken because she's like I hope he does good. And I was like, well, he's gonna do good. Like he'll be fine. Um, and yeah, it was just I slept like ass though on the second day. It was technically the second day there. But I got some better sleep, I guess, if you want to call it that, on the second day. I don't know. So on the third day when I was there, June 4th, we had an action-packed day that day. We went to go get some food. And we saw Corey in the process, so we went to Jersey Mike's because Marissa had talked about going to Jersey Mike's before. We were gonna try to go last year, but like there was a lot of people in there, and she didn't really want to deal with all those people. So we were like, okay, well, we'll just go like do something else. So we just went to Drax and all that stuff. And then so uh, and I'm trying to say it. We were trying to go last year, didn't go, but then we went this year. It was actually pretty. I guess it was pretty standard because it was just not really busy in there. But it was kind of close to the mall that we went to before, and we went to Five Below, and we got some like stuff here and there. She got this like book that you can like write your thoughts in, and it gives you like prompts and all that stuff, and inspirational quotes on one page and the prompts on the other, which is actually kind of cool. Corey got his boo some things and all that stuff. Got some posters here and there. But then after that, we dropped Corey off and all stuff. We got to see his new house. We didn't get to see inside of it because he was just like, no, I don't want you guys to go in there. And we were like, okay, that's cool. So then we dropped Corey off. We went to go see Jaden and Kevin, which is our mutual friends. And since I won't be really going to the fair this year, go see them, whatever. So we went to go see Kevin and in his place and all stuff. And it was actually like really peaceful out there. Like there's like some traffic here and there, but it was actually really really peaceful. And got to see some of his dogs, got to see some of his other housemates and all that stuff. And then we were waiting for Jaden, Miss Jaden. Waiting for her to get off the school bus so we can go do something with her. And we went to this kind of like how you want to call it, this kind of lake lake lookout spot. It's not really a lake, it was like a river, but it had like rocks and all that, and you're like going through nature and all that stuff. And we ended up like getting our feet soaked in the water and actually like having a good time. And just had a good like overall like good third day there. Kind of like a little piece in the action. Jaden got like from like waist down kind of wet, which was like actually funny. Me and Marissa, we just put our feet in the water and we were just like, just relaxing. But there was a family that was like kind of not too far from us, and they were smoking some stuff. But there was this one kid, like for the life of him, he could not pull up his damn shorts or his damn swim trunks to save his life. Because I was gonna be like, if I was a smartass, I was gonna be like, hey, crack kills. And I bet you like Marissa and Jaden would be, like give me a look, and those people would be like, excuse me, and we're like, you heard me. So we didn't want to get like harassed or anything, so we were just like, let's just leave him. So then we were on our way back up to like get to the to get back to the rental car, and Marissa had slipped and she accidentally hit Jaden in the face with her elbow. I mean, she was apologizing like a motherfucker, and then Marissa fell and like landed on her buttocks and her back and all that stuff. I was like, ow! I was like, ow, that had hurt. And then her phone kind of got wet, but it was actually kind of saved, which it was actually perfect. And that was kind of like the most impactful like action, I guess, if we want to call it that. But like we had a lot of food with us still, because like I had like my other half of my sub from Jersey Mike. She had her other half of her sub, and then we had a giant sub for her dad that night. But yeah, we got back to Kevin's place. chilled out for a little bit more, and then we were like, okay, let's just go home. So then Marissa's like, I'm gonna take you the back way to like see my ex's place. I was like, okay. Well, I wanted to go by, and I really wanted to like honk the horn and like give them a middle finger, but I bet you like they were gonna be like, what the hell was that? So we just didn't do that. But it was actually an impactful, like, good third day there. Um, so it comes to the fourth day there. It was June 5th. It was Marissa's birthday. She is 23 right now. And we didn't really do anything adventurous or anything. We just kind of just stayed home. But we didn't want to do anything adventurous because we didn't want to exhaust ourselves and all that stuff. Um, so we just hung out and all that stuff. One of her sisters came by and gave her some candy, and just hung out with us for a while, which was actually kind of nice. It was actually kind of good to see that little gremlin. Played some Magic the Gathering for a little bit. She won a game, I won a game. But then like she was kind of getting into that phase where it's just like she's kind of getting down from that like manic episodes and all that stuff, and just kind of being like, just like, whatever. And then kind of just like she was just kind of worried for Casey, and trying to make sure that this job will work out between them and her, or him and her, and all that stuff. And I was like, it's gonna be okay, it's gonna be okay. She's like, I hope so. But then that night, I kind of was just like, just sleeping here and there. I wake up, and one of her cats, Tigger, was there. And she's like, she was just like, oh, hi. And I wake up, and she's behind my head. And I just see her laying there, and I just like, just pat on her and all that stuff. I was like, well, hi. I was like, just patting on her. And then I just went back to sleep, and I woke up just several other times and all stuff. I see her behind me and all stuff. I'm just like, oh, hi. Just like, I just kept patting on her. She didn't mind or anything. I was just like, okay, that's cool. So then the final day comes, June 6th, and it was time for me to leave. It was time for me to leave Marissa in New York, and come back down to Florida. I was very, I guess you want to call it, I guess, emotional that day, because I don't really want to leave her. And I just don't want to like leave New York as a whole, because it's like it's a second home to me. Tennessee is kind of like a second home to me, but New York is kind of like a second home, because Marissa's there and I'm not. So I boarded the plane, and there was hardly nobody in next to me, but there was like some kids in front of me, and there was like some like boisterous people behind me. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna put in my headphones, whatever. So we land the plane, and I'm about to exit the plane, and I get a text from my mom, Mama D, and she's like, hey, like something's going on with the Dodge. And I was like, okay, great. Like, what else could go wrong right now? Well, she was like, okay, I'm just gonna go park and like just kind of like let it cool down. And because she said that like the temperature gauge was going over to the hot. I was like, oh my god, we just got some new things put into it too, and we just got this stuff done. And I was like, what more can go wrong with this? So she does that. I come out and I grab my bag, and we were like, okay, like, well, hopefully maybe we can make it home, because it's a 2.5 hour ride there, and a 2.5 hour ride back, somewhat. So then we start going, and the temperature gauge starts going over to the hot, and it went back over to the cool, but then it's running on like, I guess, like battery life. So we didn't really want to risk that. So we went to a Advanced Auto Parts store, and a lovely gentleman come out, and he's like, hey, can I help you guys? And we're like, yeah, can you just run diagnostics on it? He goes, okay. Well, he figures out what it is, and it's something from the radiation hose that's kind of like spewing out. Well, then I turn on the car, and he goes, "Hey, like, can you rev it for me?" I was like, "Yeah." And so I, and just kind of just like, okay, what's going on? So then he's like, "Well, there's your problem right there." So it was something within the engine area that was making coolant spew out, and the radiator fluid was spewing out. We're like, "Oh, great, that's just freaking lovely." So then we come out of there, and I knew like we were not gonna make it home. So we were just like, okay, well, what are we gonna do? So we pulled into a Wawa, and my mom said, okay, just turn off the car, let's roll down the windows and all that stuff, and let's just see if we can like have somebody come out to get us and all that stuff. Well, at first we were gonna ask my pops, and we were like, well, like by the time he comes out here, he would have to take my mom home, and then I would still have to wait in the Dodge by myself to get it towed back home. Well, then, that ended up not happening. Well, my mom's like, well, if I thought about it, we could have asked my friend that lives in the Ocala National Forest to come get us, and we could just get on out of here. Well, we waited like almost 4 freaking hours to get a tow truck out to us. Thanks, AAA. And it was from Seminole, so that was fun. And I was sweating like a freaking mad dog. Like my mom was sweating like a dog. And she was like crying. She was like tearing up and all stuff because she wanted to go home. I wanted to go home. It was just a rough day. And then finally, somebody from the Seminole Towing Company comes out, and he's like, "Hey, I'm the guy that's here to pick you up." I was like, "Okay, cool." So then we get the Dodge onto back to the tow truck and all that stuff. And I said to the guys, like, "Do you think I could just like sit in the Dodge and all that stuff? Like, I won't touch anything or anything like that." And he goes, "Nah." He's like, "I don't want to really risk that." I was like, "Okay." I was like, "That's fair." I was like, "I understand that." But I was like, "Dude, like, I could have just like sat in the Dodge and like just wait for like the roll some of the windows down so I can have some air back there, because like I could just sit back there." Um, well then we piled into his truck, and my mom had to sit in the middle. I had to sit on the passenger side, so it was very very cramped in there. And then, but yeah, like the guy he didn't come out until like almost like around 7, and it was like an hour and a half drive home, maybe if that. So we were just lucky to make it home and just make it home alive. At this point, because we were just like, it was just a rough day. So we get home. It was like almost till like it was like almost 10 o'clock maybe. And my mom's like, I had to get out of the truck first, and then my mom had to get out. Well, we got the Dodge like backed up and all stuff, so like we could just get it ready to go. And that was the end of that day, and it was just like a rough day, and I actually slept like a rock that day. Going into that next day, which was June 7th, which was like actually a really good day. Um, and I woke up, and it was like 9 o'clock or so, and I patted my bed. I was like, "Oh Lord," I was like, "I missed you," and my mom like just laughed and all that stuff. Well, it's true. I was like, I did miss him, and my sleep schedule was kind of been messed up a little bit after that, but I can't complain. But yeah, that is my New York recap, if you want to call it that. And then that is the end of this episode. 31 episodes deep. We're still going to keep going with this series because it's an actual good series and gives you some insight of what we go through on a day-to-day basis and kind of like what happens in our daily lives and all stuff, you know? But I really want to appreciate you guys for listening and or watching. If you made it to the end of this video, please make sure to follow us in all the social media links in the description below, which will take you to our link tree, which will have our Instagram page, Twitter page, the Reddit page, my gaming YouTube channel is on there. And tonight's song of the night is a Blink-182 song, and it is going to be called Story of a Lonely Guy. It is from Take Off Your Pants and Jacket, and we did a breakdown episode on that. If you want to go see that and seek that out, please go make sure to watch that video. We do really appreciate it. And yeah, that's it. And I will see you guys this coming Thursday for another episode of the Reckless Paradise Podcast. Peace!